is so powerful. Like I read something just this morning about how how the okay, so like a woman who is being formed at 4 months old as a fetus is holding eggs that she will produce for her grandchildren and so on and so forth. And that's wild. Like this little fetus has not taken like physical air in just yet, and she's already preparing for the children to come. And that just kind of talks about like this connection that you know all of us have to this earth, because the earth is like our truest mother. In a lot of cultures, that's kind of what I've learned about other cultures, but a lot of Native American cultures, we pay our respects to Mother Earth because of that. And if you really ever like dive into Native American origin stories, we all come from the earth, and we recognize Mother Earth as that. Next slide. And okay, it's a little off, but this one is just kind of like just talking about just like how these kinds of dancers are telling stories as they dance, and just kind of talking about either they may be tracking the buffalo there, or they might be following one another to to fight one another or whatever. But this is a warrior's dance, and this is how they show off like how they provide for their families and their people. Next slide. And this one is just talking about the story of the white buffalo calf woman. It's titled "Look to the East" because a lot of like that's where the sun comes up. That's where and that's to tell us that's when the new day comes. And a lot of times, whenever what it's told to us is like when you're needing encouragement, whenever you're needing that reassurance of who you are, you look to the east, because if you look hard enough, then you might see the buffalo calf woman. The buffalo calf woman is the one that brought us the pipe. A lot of people call it the peace pipe, but Native Americans, we just call it pipe. So but yeah, she's the one that granted us the ability to talk to Creator and ask for certain things. And to have that power be given to somebody like us as like normal people, we hold that to a very high standard. Next slide. And then this one again talks about the earth being a living being, talking about like how we can protect it, and how can we continue to keep it going for the future generations ahead of us. And a lot of times people don't realize that everything around them is living, whether just because it can't speak physically or make noise, there is a vibrational hum to it. And something I learned is that when you string up a bow, like a bow and arrow, like if you string up a bow, that line, even if it's not moving, it's actually vibrating. And when it does that, it's actually creating a spirit. And a lot of times warriors would string up their bows to pray with it. And so that same rule applies to like rocks. That same rule applies to plants. And yeah, next slide. Okay, this one's just one that I want to throw in there. But this one kind of just talks about like just my people in general. We didn't take no shit. It's like back in the day when Custer's Last Stand was going on. He the very last bit of the Battle of Little Bighorn, they all got scared. all the cavalry people got scared. These are grown men. They all started one account said that they started noticing that the men were starting to kill themselves because of how scared they were of all these Native Americans that were coming towards them. And the young people, the young warriors, they were all asking to move up in rank. So the the veteran warriors were like, yeah, shoot, let them have it. It's like it's them. They can do it. They're old enough. They can do it. And so a lot of the people that killed off the rest of the cavalry soldiers were like 12-year-olds. And so there was women, there was young men, young women. It's actually credited to a woman that she knocked Custer off the horse. And yeah, next slide. And so this one is talking about, again, the bonds between fathers or just parents and their children. This one talks about, or it's titled "The Things That They Never Forget," and this one is kind of showing off how this little boy is getting dressed up to tell his story that hasn't really truly begun, But the dad right there is giving him all of his things to help this boy go on and actually tell his story. As I explained before, the style of dance that he's doing is a style of dance where you tell your story about what you've done, whether it's a feat in battle or something that you experienced. So this father is preparing this boy basically to go into battle, or either going to tell his story, because he's gonna talk with his heart. And so a lot of the stuff that you see the little boy wearing is very similar to the stuff that the dad is wearing. And as you can see, there's a little spirit in the back that's kind of like the grandfather. And so while this dad is helping this boy get ready, this is kind of like the thoughts that he's had, or the thoughts and memories that he has of his dad doing this for him. And one thing that I remembered was growing up and going to powwows and stuff was getting all my dad's things, and feeling like they had power in it, and being able to hold his dance stick or wear his feathers. It felt like it was something that was definitely giving me more energy and more things to be proud about. And those are the things that I remember about my dad. Next slide. These next couple pictures are basically pictures talking about grief and just the things that I remember about my dad. As Janine had explained before, I lost my dad coming up on 2 years now. I was able to sit with him to the last bit of his life. I don't think he wanted me to be there for his last breath. I ended up walking into the other room because he was in hospice. So I ended up walking into the other room and going to sleep. And during that time, you can go to the next slide. During that time, I ended up actually having a dream of these men standing by this doorway, and I was getting ready to go through the doorway, and I stopped going through it, and the men asked me, "Are you ready?" And I was like, "No." And they were like, "Well, make sure you're ready." And I ended up going over to this dresser, and I opened it up, and I saw my dad's bow and his set of arrows, and a hunting knife that he had. And I remember I grabbed those things, and then those guys asked me again, "Are you ready?" And I was like, "I'm not." And he's like, "Well, you're gonna have to be." And whenever I walked over to the door, I opened it up, and as the door was opening up, I was getting woken up by my wife, and she was informing me that my dad had passed. And it was during that time, a lot of times I had went through that guilt of not being there, but I understand it now as my dad didn't want me to be there. He understood what it was going to have an effect on me. And, I'm just thankful to have had somebody to, continue on these like teachings, and help me teach, kids or other people who are searching for something within themselves that, you make a difference here. And so, yeah, I just wanted to share my art with you guys. I have more art sitting up in the lobby area. You guys are more than welcome to come check it out for a bit. Understanding you guys got a meeting here in a little bit, but yeah, as long as we can talk or visit, all my art out there is available for purchase. And yeah, I got business cards and whatnot. So thank you.
Thank you. You can visit with TK and perhaps purchase some of his work after the service. This is the piece that I bought the card and that he then gave me the poster to. And if you want to read what it's about, look at the card or the print and it will say what that's about on the back. We will now do our closing song. You don't have it on there?
Dialogue.
Huh? Heart wide open?
Dialogue. Are we going to have dialogue?
No, we don't have time because of the meeting. We're not going to go till 1:45. Sorry, you have to come talk to him later.
Keep your heart wide open, though the waves wanna push you around. You gotta keep your heart wide open till your faith brings you back to solid ground. I'm gonna keep my heart. I'm gonna keep wide open. I'm gonna keep my heart wide open. Though these waves wanna push, though they want me around, though the waves wanna push me around, I'm gonna keep my heart. I'm gonna keep wide open. I'm gonna keep my heart wide open till my faith brings me back to solid ground. Until my faith brings me back to solid ground. We gotta keep our heart. We gotta keep wide open. We gotta keep our hearts wide open. Though these waves wanna push us around, although these waves wanna push us around, we gotta keep our heart. We gotta keep wide open till our faith brings us back to solid ground. Till our faith brings us back to solid ground. Say hi.
Hi.
Oh, and it jumped on me. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. We carry these in our hearts until we are together again. I will remind you there is an annual meeting after the service. Please stay for pizza and salad lunch. Donations will be accepted for that. The meeting starts as close to 12 as we can. And if I realize that I did not open the mic for announcements, so please feel free to put those on our Facebook page, wherever you feel like it would be seen. And we will now go and have some pizza, coffee, whatever you would like. And please come back for the meeting at 12.